Hey people, today I'm going to inform you about the new fantasy television series Vermilion Gold. The story opens at the Ortigia Royal Academy of Magic, where we meet a boy named Alto Goldfield. Alto is informed that he failed his summoning exam and that if he cannot form a contract with a familiar by the following day, he will be held back a grade and forced to repeat the year. Alto meets with his childhood friend Lilia Cuddlefight. Lilia is shocked to learn that Alto may be held back a year despite having received perfect scores in every course. Alto tells her he still has the next day and will give it one more shot. He goes to the library for assistance when, to his surprise, an old summoning book falls off the shelf and lands on his head. He takes the book home and performs the ritual described there. The summoning is successful, and a naked demon girl named Vermel is summoned. They form a contract, and Vermel kisses him to drain his mana. She tries to seduce him, but he rejects her and forces her to put on some clothes. Alto is then confused as to why a demon would choose to serve him as a familiar because the demons they have learned about in history have always destroyed humans. She explains that she was imprisoned in the book and will serve him as an act of gratitude. The following day, Alto showed his teacher Vermel as his summon. He has no choice except to accept her and Alto. Vermel sits on Alto's lap during class. Showing him affection, the teacher tells him that this behavior is inappropriate, which Lilia is happy to hear. However, Vermel points out that many students have their familiars sitting with them, leaving the teacher speechless. After class, Alto is confronted by Lilia, who declares that she dislikes Vermont and challenges them to a fight. If Lilia wins, Vermel will avoid Alto, but if Alto prevails, she will obey one of his instructions. Lilia calls upon a familiar, a high-class wind spirit that surprises Vermel. Lilia generates a powerful attack on Alto by combining her magic with her ally. She steps in front of him and engages the attack head-on. When the dust clears, Vermel is completely unarmed, but when she uses magic to make Lilia so aroused that she forfeits the match. Alto orders Lilia to become friends with Vermont after he won. Vermont later claims that Lilia is in love with him, but Alto doesn't believe her. The following day, as they go to school, they notice that everyone is staring at them. Suddenly, a dragon charges down the path, but Vermel stops it with a single flick, sending it flying into the distance. As the headmaster welcomes the pupils to their second year, Lilia is still envious of Vermel's after-school clutch to Alto. To keep an eye on Alto and Vermel, Lilia offers herself to go home with them. Two students confront them. The owner of the dragon that Vermel defeated and his older brother Rex want to get revenge on Vermel, but Alto sneaks up on them and imprisons them in a prison of crystals. While they are distracted, Rex summons his familiar and escapes. Rex, a fifth-year student, summons a dinosaur. Rex then sends his familiar to attack, but Vermel boosts Alto's mana, enabling him to unleash a far more powerful crystal magic attack and defeat Rex. When they get home, Vermel asks Alto what he wants from life. She suggests that he become wealthy, but he replies that he wants to be a great mage. He explains that there are 4 levels of mages' apprentices in this world: bronze, silver, and gold, but he wants to advance farther. Beyond reaching the platinum rating, Vermel affirms his dream and pledges to assist him in realizing it. The following day, when they and Lilia see their friends, Marx and Cheryl Marx, who come from a noble family, are impressed that Alto defeated a fifth-year student they considered to be his rival. When their teacher appears and informs them that the headmaster has called to see them, he informs them that one of them will be the student representative. To choose who that person will be, the headmaster gives them a special test. The winner will be the person who can retrieve a fairy flower from the forest. Cheryl stays behind to assist Marx after he is attacked by a man-eating plant. The others continue searching for the flower and find it on top of a mountain. However, the entrance is guarded by a sleeping Cerberus. Lilia has an invisibility potion and plans to use it to sneak past the Cerberus. Lilia is terrified of stripping in front of Alto, but she has no other choice as Lilia approaches the Cerberus. Vermel claims that she can defeat the Cerberus with ease, but she goes to Alto to ask for additional mana. As Lilia tries to sneak by the Cerberus but not all the heads are sick and she is caught, Vermel emerges from above and unleashes her demonic powers. There is a huge explosion, and Lilia manages to grab it. She brings the flower back down to the others, admits defeat, and offers to give it to Alto. However, her and his ability wears off, and she becomes embarrassed and drops the flower. The flower is blown away and lands in Cheryl's hands. She wins the position, and the others congratulate her on it. The kids gaze upward as a formation of dragons flies by, and they all respect the dragon rider's captain. Vermel asks who they are. We're the dragon riders, the same club Rex belongs to at school. Lilia Marks reveals how incredible Chris is. Noting that in addition to being the head of the Dragon Riders, she also serves as an executive on the student council and is one of the school's 7 gold-ranked students. Alto is astounded by the fact that she is already a student with a gold ranking and wants he could be as good as the president of the student council, who is rumored to have a near-platinum ranking. Lily questions whether Vermel is even human as she recalls how she defeated the Cerberus. With a single blow is something even a gold-ranked mage wouldn't be able to do. Lilia is suspicious of Vermel and swears to expose her. Cheryl picks up that Lilia must really like Alto, but this causes her to panic and be flustered. Cheryl encourages her to confess her feelings to Alto. The trio hurriedly moves out of the way as the student council arrives in front of them, and Chris stares at Vermel wondering who she is. Later Vermel slips into Alto's shower and makes another seduction attempt. Chris assaults Rex after learning that he lost Alto because she feels ashamed that he is a member of the Dragon Riders, when she knows that he is only a dinosaur and not a dragon. She then proceeds to beat him and kicks him out of the group. A little while after heading up, Alto realizes what happened. As soon as Alto and Vermel reach the top of the dueling platform, they are met by Chris. Chris offers Alto the chance to withdraw from the fight, but they are both set on fighting. Chris summons her familiar and her dragon appears as Lilia watches in horror as Alto launches his impressive crystal attack, impressing Chris. But she is able to stop it with a single blast of her magic. She then fires again, forcing Vermel to block the attack. Vermel blocks all of Chris's fireballs and falls to the ground as he continues to fire them rapidly. Chris shatters all of Alto's attempts at a counterattack with his crystals. Chris is impressed by Alto's skill, but is more amazed by Vermel's ability to repel her attacks. Vermel gives Alto more of her power, enabling him to launch a massive barrage of crystals at Chris. And there is a huge explosion. Alto is pleased that it's finished, but Chris rides up, proclaiming that dragons are the supreme beings and that all other beings are inferior. She rains a fireball down at them while Vermel keeps shielding him and instructing him to increase his mana. Alto is once more supercharged by Vermel, and he unleashes a massive crystal strike. Chris breaks it, but loses sight of Alto who, using the crystal Vermel shards, jumps up to Chris before Chris can respond. Alto then holds a crystal to Chris' throat and triumphs. Alto wins the duel, and all the students shout for him. He also gains popularity with women, making Lilia more envious. Professor Obsidian shows up and warns Alto not to approach battles carelessly. He then congratulates Alto on his victory and departs, followed by all the ladies. Alto asks Lilia if she likes him too, but she is offended by the remark. Rex encounters Chris, who is stunned to see her performing her own duties. She offers an apology, but Rex is quite surprised to hear such things from her. Later that day, Rex takes over the tasks, and the two reconcile. Vermont tries to seduce Alto once more, but he tells her that one should only kiss someone they love, so she confesses her love for him in shock, demonstrating her love by kissing him without using any of his mana. The next day Alto was happy having resolved his feelings toward Vermel. He apologizes to Professor Obsidian for his strange question about demons, but the professor is just happy to see that Alto is feeling better. Later Obsidian meets with a female student in private. She tells him that she loves him and he embraces her, however he holds a suspicious-looking syringe. The girl is later discovered frozen in her room. The rumor of this incident spreads. The girl was rescued but left in a coma. The student council investigates the attack. The Vice President Ryuga Shinuji and Executive Jessica Schwartz discuss the incident, revealing this to be the third incident of a student being placed in a coma. Alto measures Vermel because the class's assignment was to write a report on their familiars. Vermel disrobes so that Alto can measure her while a familiar of Lilia's observes them. When Lilia and Cheryl are outside of his room and her familiar tells what it witnessed, Alto's door is unlocked. And Lilia enters the boy's room while invisible. She becomes alarmed as Alto approaches her directly, but he simply snatches a book while he looks for the correct book. Lilia is surprised when Alto touches her without her knowledge. Alto concludes his report by outlining what Vermel liked. But Vermel adds Alto's name to the list.